Welcome back to Spyro. We
What?
just killed Nasty Nork.
Welcome back. Yeah, we retconned that.
We killed him in the butt.
Let me try to find. So I finished Skyward Sword.
Yes.
Your favorite game?
Second favorite game.
Okay. So let me go back. While I was playing it, I made some pro and con lists.
Okay, let's get the cons out of the way.
Well, that's most of it.
Jeez.
Okay, cons.
I'm scared.
Cons. Let me see if I can understand these. I'll just read them and interpret them as I read them, I guess.
Okay.
Con: break up pacing in load times and timings. What does that mean?
What does that mean?
Why is when I God, you're having fun there.
Why is
that when I'm on my loft wing and I'm flying around, I'm able to drop off and go to any island and they're all rendered in real time except for the one that matters? Even though it's
the biggest?
That shouldn't matter.
Because the system's not as powerful? I don't know.
If your system, well, it's just a break in consistency. Because as you're in the world, as you're flying around, and you can see Loftwing, you can drop in any part you want. Why is it not just all rendered and I can just do it? And
Jeez, this is painful.
And why can't I just jump off any part of the island and get on my bird? Why can I only do it when I jump off of a specific part of the game?
Because that's the culture.
No, don't try to justify this.
Don't bash on my game.
Con.
Okay.
Movement seems sluggish in turning. The turning isn't as tight as I'd like it to be, or as it was in others. I'll skip that one and come back to it. This is the one. Notice how all these are just like small directorial gameplay choices.
Yeah.
Equipping an item from the wheel takes you immediately into first-person view to use that item. I don't like that.
I don't remember that. Okay.
Well, probably because you didn't notice it.
You know, I'm glad I don't notice things in games. It makes me enjoy them more.
Well, ignorance is bliss.
Yeah.
The way they did it in Twilight Princess was really good because when you equip an item, you just hold it in your hand, and then when you need to use it, you use it.
Yeah.
The two ways that it was done, Twilight Princess was a lot more fluent and intuitive and user-friendly, and I didn't like the way every time I equipped something, I had to go into the first-person view, something like that.
Yeah, I seriously don't remember that. That's interesting.
Transferring to a first-person view mode with the camera view rather than player orientation. Yeah, it's another one of those things that it's been done more.
You're saying
user-friendly in other games.
So you're saying like, okay, so let's say, oh shoot,
like okay, so stop right here in this game. Spyro's facing to the left.
I'm facing to the left.
And if you went into first person, see, it goes to his player orientation.
Is that better?
I mean, it's more intuitive and it makes more sense.
Interesting.
From a gameplay standpoint, but in Skyward Sword, it went wherever the camera was facing. And when you're fighting a boss battle and you are running away from a boss and the camera's behind you and you're looking away, and you turn Link around and you want to whip out your bow, you have to go into first person view and turn it.
Well, you can turn around with the Z button. I mean, that's what you're supposed to do in almost every Zelda game.
Almost. It doesn't work as well as in some other Zeldas.
Weird.
Most enemies are laborious and not fun to fight. The reason why this game got 10s, and why it's...
I would say in large part presentation.
And why it was regarded as better than Ocarina of Time, meaning it was the best Zelda ever made, is because it perfected what motion controls were supposed to be in a Zelda game.
Right.
And so it presented you with new, unique ways to fight enemies, and each one engages you in a mini-boss fashion. But when that's your entire game, I found myself running from enemies more than I had. I only fought the enemies that I had to, because the motion controls are imprecise. They may be one-to-one, but that just means it demands more of me from a like a engagement standpoint, and that's not always a good thing. Because when like it's unforgiving in a way that it shouldn't be. That's not the question. It's unforgiving in a way that it shouldn't be, because even the moblins that you find in the overworld all the time, they're a chore to fight. It's a process to get through each one of them.
Did you know you can sprint up to them and do a jumping attack, and like knock them down immediately and kill them really quickly? Hey, guess what? The antagonist is talking.
Oh, Red, and his name is Red.
Yeah.
I wonder why.
Creativity.
They stole that from Pokemon, and he has no teeth. He has no teeth.
He has 2 teeth.
Look at him. Those are tusks.
Those are teeth. They're covered in blood. That's why they're completely red.
I'm not going to argue the finer points of whether or not character models have teeth or fangs.
Okay.
Oh, you just got frozen blood in the face.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh, this got dark really quick, but that's okay.
I want him to just turn to that guy, freeze him, and then just take a saber. What the what?
Oh yeah.
Look at this stuff, isn't it neat? Wouldn't you think my diabetes would prevent me from jumping over that fence? Anyway, that was insensitive.
What's her song? Her song is Oh, Unfortunate Soul.
Yeah, Poor Unfortunate Soul. Most, I already said that. For putting such an emphasis on freely roaming the skies, why... Oh, I already talked about that. Fee's extremely annoying.
I don't know.
Fee's the most useless thing in the world.
Okay. It's your opinion, but that's okay.
How is she not?
She's pretty.
No arguments there. Her character design is amazing, but she serves no useful purpose, and...
Well,
she's awful.
If you're trying to make the argument that she's annoying, I mean, Navi is clearly more annoying.
No.
In her voice.
No.
Sure.
Navi demands your attention far less than Fee does. You can't escape Fee a lot of the times.
Okay.
She forcibly comes out of the Master Sword to talk to you when you could actually ignore Navi when you know.
Every time you make a negative point, a little bit of my soul just dies.
Well, I'll get used to it because that's what adults do every day.
Yeah.
Motion controls are gimmicky and unnecessary. Goes back to fighting people.
Okay.
The 1-to-1 specifically in aiming. Aiming was great and fun and intuitive in Twilight Princess, but the 1-to-1 specifically makes it
Can I share my opinion on how the motion controls are good?
You think I would stop you?
Okay. Well, one thing that comes to mind is, like, let's say you're in a cave and you see a bunch of the bat creatures, I forget what they're called.
Keese?
The Keese. And let's say one of them is flying towards you and is, like, just above you. And it's like, well, if he's right above me, I can swing up and hit him.
Yeah.
Like, I can just do that. And it's like,
yeah.
I think my character ought to be... If I was in that real-life situation, that's what I would do.
Yeah.
And because I can do that in the game, I think that's cool. But that's just me.
So that's...
Probably just me.
So that's why the motion controls are good?
That's one of the things I like about it. Is it's more... I can really more precisely do what I want, as opposed to do this combo that the character is already going to do. I don't know.
I'm talking about.
think it's kind of cool.
I'm talking about first-person aiming. With the first-person aiming is the 1-to-1 makes it not as accurate. What are we looking at right now?
And what do you think? His name is Otto.
An abomination. This is what we're looking at.
He's an otter, you dummy.
Anyway.
I just called you a dummy. Ha!
I don't need a big dramatic moment every time I pick up an enemy treasure. Oh my gosh, that happened way too much. It grinds pacing to a halt and it's grueling to watch. It was the worst. It's probably the smallest thing you can change to get the greatest improvement in that game.
Interesting.
It's the dumbest. It's so dumb.
Oh boy.
What, you're a giant fan of picking up enemy treasures and having a cutscene?
I'm a giant fan of Skyward Sword.
I'm a fan.
Well, what I'm saying is when you present your opinion in that way, it feels forced, like you're forcing it on me. I'm kind of... I don't like that.
The only time an opinion is ever forced on you is if you think it is.
Okay.
And apparently you think all opinions are being forced down your throat.
Well, when...
He didn't deny it, ladies and gentlemen.
I didn't. But when I think something's good and you think it's bad, it's like, well, am I stupid?
I don't think Skyward. No, in entertainment, there's a fine line you draw between if something is actually objectively good and whether or not you like it. They're two separate things. There is something to be said about whether something's objectively good or bad,
Which is
always
hard
exists.
to find.
And it always exists. You can always find agreements that something is good or something is bad.
Yeah.
A decision or something. But
Frame rates and load times could
that,
find.
well, I
Like
mean, that's just technical ways you make a
things.
game.
You know, and those are things that are, no one wants a bad frame rate. You know, that's not subjective.
Yeah.
You know, that's what.
And
what comes to
the
mind.
things that are subjective that's never what people argue about.
Okay.
Because things that are subjective, it's moot to argue about them. When I was in I'll get to the pros here in a second. When I was in my undergrad speech class, the one thing that I remember from that entire semester class was the knowledge of whether or not, knowing whether or not it's a smart idea to engage in an argument is whether or not, the easiest way to avoid an argument is identifying whether or not there's an answer. With the analogy of this man and his wife are arguing about the color of hair that a certain celebrity had during a certain concert, and each one just screaming that they're right, when you could just as easily look it up and find the answer. There's no room for an argument there in the definition of the word argument. It's just, there's an answer, go look it up, end it. Arguments are when you think, when you think something, when you have an idea or have a subjective opinion, you engage in an argument if you want to try to convince the other that yours is better for X, Y, and Z reason. When it comes to entertainment and subjective, I like this, I don't like this, there's not much room for an argument. You can, of course, present your opinion, but all too often, well, I thought you were on top of water.
Nope.
All too often people present their opinions already with the idea that they can change the other person's mind and that it's a good thing to change the other person's mind.
Thanks.
But it goes to like business CEOs argue all the time.
This is why Jack is right about being right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Business CEOs argue all the time, and the word argue has a negative connotation. People just hear the word argument and they think it's a bad thing.
The politically correct word is debate, I think.
Yes. Yes. A debate is the conversation between two people presenting their ideas. An argument is a reason for something. To present an argument.
Interesting.
An argument is not a conversation between two people, and that's the common misconception. Business CEOs have arguments all the time of how the decisions that their company needs to make to function the best and provide the best service. And of course, there's a billion ways you could do that.
Yeah.
There's
But
no,
not as
there's
many good ways.
so many right answers, and there are so many ineffective answers that people argue about what we need to prioritize, what audience we need to, like, I don't know, like Coca-Cola in their ad campaigns. Who are we targeting? How do we best target them? Anything. That's a very specific example, but they present arguments on...
What are you going to school for?
Theater.
Okay. Sounds like business or English.
I'm just very articulate, and I just know the way that these things work because I'm out of it mostly.
You're a closet genius.
Yes, I'll agree. And so, taking it back to what we're talking about, I think Skyward Sword is a very good game. There are small changes that I would make. The only reason I sound like I'm furious when I present those arguments is because I had to deal with them for so long. And every time they would come up, I would think it'd be so easy to change this.
Becoming emotionally compromised? Just kidding.
Just every time I had to watch a cutscene to pick up an enemy treasure, it struck me as this really does not need to be in this game, and it's not in any other game. And it's such an easy fix that's when I get frustrated, is that it's such an easy fix that why is it here? And leading us to the pros.
All right, coming up next on Lightning Gamers, why Skyward Sword is good.
Ha! Wait. We're gonna talk. Yeah. Hold my thought. Oh gosh.
You have them written down. It's okay.